Welcome to the Who's Next Let's Go show. I'm your host, Mike motherfucking Johnson. Welcome to the inaugural Who's Next Let's Go show, sponsored by who'snextletsgo.com and Back Porch Brewing Company. We'd like to thank them for being our first sponsor. Their kitchen is now fully open. They asked me to let everyone know that. They'll be fully functional by the time this airs, so that's good news for everybody locally here in North Venice. So when we do these shows, we're going to talk about a few things. Today's episode is referencing the automobile industry, and in the automobile industry, we are in the office quite a bit. So it's not like real estate where I'm everywhere all the time having fun, working the same amount of hours, but in the automotive industry, we are in the same building 70 hours a week, especially the higher you go up in the car business, the longer you're there. So you get a little bored sometimes. We tend to have idle minds as the devil's workshop. So we do a lot of practical jokes and different things. And there was one guy in particular that I used to work with, and he used to get me quite a bit. And one day I come back from vacation. I was on vacation for about 5 days, and everyone who knows me knows I'm a big hot sauce fan. So one of my customers, while I was gone, had brought me a little bottle of hot sauce from the hotel or what have you. And while I was gone, this bastard took the seal off of the bottle of hot sauce, emptied it out, and poured in there the highest Scoville rating of hot sauce you could possibly get, and somehow hermetically sealed that top back on there. So when I came back in, I'm expecting something, so I'm looking all over my office, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, no, he didn't get me. And I had the little note with the hot sauce bottle from the customer. So I was on a little diet at the time, and I was eating. Clearly, I'm not on one now, but at the time I was on one. And I was eating hard-boiled eggs, and I'd put a little hot sauce on them, and that's how I started my day. So I broke my egg up, and I'm pouring this hot sauce on there, and the color was different. So I said, fucker, I got him. He got me, and I'm not going to let him get me. So I swiped the hot sauce off with my finger, throw it in the trash, and I continued to eat my egg, and I think nothing of it. Well, about 30 minutes later, my contact started bothering me. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to grab my contact juice and I'm going to go clean my contact. So I grab the contact and I end the contact and I'm starting to clean it with your finger like that. Don't think nothing of it. And it's the same finger that I had wiped the hot sauce off with. So I could proceed to plop the contact back into my eye and cry like a little bitch because it hurt. I mean, I couldn't hardly see. So I'm going up, and he's in finance at the time. So I'm going up in front of his office and I can't see. Kill me. I'm never going to see my daughter again. And he grabs me by my neck and he takes me down to the eye wash station. And he goes, you sit right here. You're going to get us fired. So that was just one incident where he got me. And I'm sure we'll make a whole another podcast of the 30,000 more times we got each other with the practical jokes. But just crazy stuff that goes on in that industry. Today's guest is also representative of that industry. He is on the finance side. He owns his own subprime finance company, and he does a lot of stuff, good stuff in the community as well. The thing that gets me about his industry is he never even sees these cars. And yet, when soon as something goes south, they always bitch about what a piece of shit the car is. And I'm like, wait a minute, you picked the car out. All he did was finance, and the only reason he even owns the car is because you didn't pay, yet you're mad at him. So I can't figure that out. Maybe he can shine a little light on it. But today's guest, Mr. Mario, ¿Qué te pasa, güey?
¿Qué pasa, güey, you pendejo?
Pendejo, ¿qué pendejo? That's our internal greeting, internal joke. But hey, Mario, welcome to the show. Thanks for being the first guest on the Who's Next Let's Go show. I'm happy to have you. And I was hoping you could share a couple things with us. I know you have some great stories.
Before I do that, Mike, I got to tell you, this beer from our friends over at Back Porch is pretty doggone good.
Can't wait for the food because I'm fat.
Yep.
And the two things I like are
beer
and food.
Absolutely. Mike, first of all, thank you for having me here. But yeah, I've got a couple of stories. In fact, when you finance anything or somebody borrows money from you, most of the time you get paid. But quite frankly, sometimes you don't. And in my industry, if you don't pay, I'm coming to get the car.
And how long have you been doing this?
40 years.
So you've got a ton of stories.
More stories than we could stand.
Can we chalk this next story, whatever story you might tell us, which is going to be the funniest story you have, I'm assuming. Can we chalk that up to today's episode of You can't make this shit up.
You can't make it up.
Sorry, my ex-wife was in the background.
Listen,
There she is again. My ex-wife.
The craziest story I can think of, because you asked me, hey, come up with a couple of these stories. Craziest story I can think of. And now this is going back to the early 80s when I was employed by, and I'm going to say it because they don't exist anymore, by GMAC, which is the time of the largest auto finance company in the world.
Perfect.
I was an entry-level field representative, which meant that they gave me a company car and a stack of assignments. And the deal was you either had it in the bank or in the barn, meaning you either collected the money or I'm taking the car. By the way, that car was a beautiful 1983 Chevrolet Cavalier, burgundy with red velour interior.
Did it come with a fedora? With little balls hanging down from it.
It was just a pimp mobile. But anyway, we digress.
Did it have spinners?
It did not have spinners. Oh. We digress late. So at the time, we would always have what we called milk runs. In other words, it was customers that were habitually past due, where I had to go out there, it seemed like every single month, and collect their payment literally at their doorstep or take the car. And there was this one particular lady, okay? And when I first went out there, I noticed that she just had a little baby bump, and I collected the payment. Next month, go back out, same thing, the bump got bigger. Subsequently, I rolled out there one day, she's past due again, I pull in, and she's got a Camaro, and Camaro's in her driveway, I pull in right behind her, knock on the door, and she greets me with a baby. Listen, when I say a baby, this kid couldn't have been more than a week or two old. So she says, oh, come on in, because at this point we knew each other. We walk in to her house, and she says, I've got the cash in the bedroom. So let me go get it. Can you hold my baby? I said, sure. I'm not sure what to do.
She said, hold the brand new baby.
She asked me to hold the baby.
Hold on. I got a picture in my mind of you with this little baby at 20-something years old. Please tell me the baby shit on you.
She hands me the baby. Now listen, I don't have a whole lot of experience of baby holding at that point, but I'm holding this little baby about this big, and she goes in the back bedroom. I'm waiting, and all of a sudden, I hear the Camaro start. This woman had jumped out the window, got in her car, backed up, hit my company car. She hit the Cavalier, jumped over her own bushes, and took off.
And left you with the baby.
What do? I have baby. I'm a company man. I dumped the kid on the couch, and we're in hot pursuit. And we did a high-speed pursuit through the city until I lost her because I had a Cavalier and she had a Camaro.
So the baby's on the couch.
There's nobody else home that I saw. I dumped the kid on the couch, and I take off, and quite frankly, I never saw the kid again.
Wow.
So
the baby's on the couch. Did baby drop an O-ring while he's on there and slip and poop on you?
You know, I got a whiff.
You got
I got a whiff. So it was, listen, I'm not changing the diaper.
No, I'm not in that program.
At that point, I don't even know how to change a diaper.
So you don't know what happened to the baby. This baby, nothing. No idea.
No clue.
The lady chased you all over Los Angeles or whatever. What city were you? Los Angeles?
Yeah, we were. Yeah. And you know what? Subsequently, I didn't get her that night, but I did get my car back.
Well, there's no question. I've known you too long to know you didn't get your car back.
Remember, at the time, we had to, when you contacted a customer, you had to do a written report as to what happened and turn this in the next morning to your boss. Somehow, I did not include the part about dumping the baby on the couch and taking off.
That's the best part of the story. How do you not put that in there?
You can't put that in there, Mike.
You can't put it in there.
Mike, I would not be sitting here today discussing auto finance career with you if I had put that in there.
Hold on. So they would have fired you if you'd put the baby on the couch.
Maybe.
But hey, baby care was a lot different back then than it is today.
I did what I had to do.
Well, you got the car back.
I got the car back.
No idea what happened to the baby.
We got the car back.
I'm sure that baby's in jail somewhere. Ain't no question in my mind.
I have no idea, Mike.
It's part of our legal system now. Oh, so I guess that is the funniest thing that's happened to you. I'm sure there's some shocking things that have happened to you. What was one of the most shocking stories? Which could be funny too, because you've got a lot of them. So,
More or less about the same time.
hold on, do you still have the same car?
Different car.
Oh, they gave you a better car. Did they upgrade you after you got the Camaro back?
The only thing that was an upgrade is I ended up going with blue velour interior in the Cavalier.
Oh, so you went from pimp red to ice cold blue. Okay.
Blue. That was the upgrade. And you know what? I welcome the upgrade.
I bet so. I bet so.
So we had another situation where, you gotta remember, in a somewhat older neighborhood back in the day, there was a standalone home and they had a detached garage that would be in the back of the house. Mm-hmm. So in that situation, the driveway went immediately next to the house, from here that far away from the window. So this was a El Camino, for those people old enough to know what an El Camino was. So at this time I showed up with a tow truck driver and a tow truck, and we were going to take this guy's El Camino. My tow truck driver, his name was Copperhead.
Say no more.
Say no more.
Copperhead.
So we saw the El Camino.
Hold on. So
what?
I apologize for
No,
I apologize for but I got questions, and
Yeah,
I'm
all
old,
right,
so I got to remember. So first time you didn't have a tow truck.
Right.
Showed up on your own.
Yep.
You get stuck with a baby. Baby drops an O-ring.
Yep.
You put the baby on the couch. Off you go.
Yeah.
Chasing the thing.
Yeah.
This time you're like, I'm not going to do that again.
I'm not doing that again.
I'm going to bring me a tow truck and a guy named Copperhead.
That's
so
right.
I don't have to chase this bitch all over California.
That's correct.
And leave a baby on the couch.
That's right.
And a witness. So the Copperhead could be a witness if there's an incident.
So
right.
Copperhead and I pull up to this guy's house. And there's the El Camino, not in the garage, but it's parked in the back. So we turn around and back up the tow truck past this guy's living room window. Literally, we're sitting there watching TV. And we hook up the El Camino, pick it up, and as we're pulling forward, at this point, we're going right by his window. The customer, the owner of the car, comes out the door onto those little porches that those houses have, just as the El Camino is passing by, and he leaps into the bed of the El Camino as we pull off into the street.
Belly flop, or did he kind of have a
dove,
tuck and roll?
He dove into the back.
Any kind of technique, just a dove.
He just, as I recall, Mike, he just dove into the back of the El Camino. And now we're out on the street, and my good friend Copperhead decides, well, we're going to show this guy. And he floors it down the street and then locks up the brakes on the tow truck.
Bam!
Bam! And then he accelerates again and I'm looking in the back, and all I see is ass and elbows. This guy is getting torched back. He's getting rolled from one end of the El Camino to the other, back and forth, beat up. We finally stop.
Well, hold on. Was Copperhead smiling as he's doing this?
He seemed to enjoy it.
I bet he did.
He seemed to enjoy it. I was terrified. He seemed to enjoy it. Somehow this was not within policy.
No, there's no policy. No baby policy either.
When we finally stopped, I turned around, yelled back, and said, "Get out!" And he crawled out of the back of the El Camino.
How far away were you from his house?
I was several blocks at this point, and we just took off. And you know what? And I'm thinking, oh, this is not going to go well for my career. And I never heard. Never heard.
No. Did you write in the report?
I did not.
Copperhead, because you have to write the report.
I don't recall exactly what was in the report, but I'm pretty sure that the words Copperhead,
stop and go really fast,
and the stop and go technique was not part of the report.
Floor it, hammered into the back window. None of that was in there?
Mike, it was a clean recovery.
Clean recovery. I got the car. End of report.
Clean recovery.
Car is in back lot, parked in spot 5A.
It was a clean recovery.
Clean recovery. Oh, is there such a thing? I used to watch that show that he had, the Repo show. Some of those things. And there was one woman in there that she would, yes, ma'am, here's my key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I pay my bill twice?
Along those lines, there's always those folks that you do get their car, and then the next morning they call.
Oh, yeah. I bet you got a few phone calls.
We got a few phone calls. In fact, I took the time to come up with a couple of prized possessions. And Mike, if you're welcome, you can go ahead and play that.
I actually happen to have those.
Yep.
And I have them right here.
Not for women and children.
Not for women and children. And I want to apologize to Mario's mother. This was not him speaking. This was people speaking to him.
Sorry, Mom.
Not sure if that should make you proud or not.
Go ahead, Mike. Hit it.
I'm hitting it here. I'll have some questions afterwards.
Good morning, Wrinkle Dicks and Flappy Pussies. I was calling because you guys took a car from me. I just want to let you know, I'm good, man. That car you took from was a piece of shit. Overpriced.
Oh.
Very old. Found something better, paid in cash. No loans from no bum-ass auto credit parties. Paid cash money, no more credit loans. You guys are rip-offs, cheaters, liars. And I hope your family and everybody else is burning out, son of bitches.
All right. So hold on. I got to start at the beginning. Did he say wrinkled dicks and sloppy, what I think he said?
Apparently so, Mike.
Yeah, that's awful.
Now, when I go into the office, normally I'm there towards 9-ish. My staff is there before me, usually by 20 minutes or so. These lovely ladies.
And I've met those ladies. They are super nice. They don't deserve that.
Well, quite frankly, they were laughing hysterically. They said, we got to show you something. Laughing hysterically. Oh, that was a good one.
So, and it's a classic. So he picked that car out.
He did.
Now it's a piece of shit because he
Yes.
didn't pay for it.
Yes.
And yet he made the point to tell you he paid cash money for a car when he could have paid the cash for the car he already had.
For the payment, yeah.
That is a piece of shit.
And apparently we're all going
And that's
to
your fault
My
because
fault.
he picked out the car.
Going to burn in hell.
And your whole family's going to burn in hell.
My whole family.
And I've met your family, and they are all nice. I don't know where you get you from, but they're all super nice. And so I'm trying to figure out why you don't just burn in hell, why your whole family's got to burn in hell. And your lovely mother, she does not deserve to burn in hell. She's loved.
No,
That's another plug for Mom. So we got another phone call here, and this is a different guy, and he's not happy with you either. And apparently he is upset with your family as well. And your poor family. Now you, when I call the motherfucker you, I do it directly to you.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't have nothing to do with your family.
That's
It's so
right.
nice. And your lovely wife is nice. It's just you.
That's right.
Hey, this is crackhead motherfucker I spoke to earlier.
Hold on. He said, crackhead motherfucker. Did he speak to you earlier?
Yeah, he did.
Are you the crackhead motherfucker?
I am.
No, I know you enjoy a good beer, but I've never known you to do crack.
No crack.
All right, just
I found out my shit, my tag is over RCI. And you can go ahead and auction that piece of shit ass 2003 fucked up ass mechanical problem ass piece of shit ass Cadillac. And fuck you and fuck your whole staff, you pieces of shit. Suck my dick.
Whoa! Hold on, I got a couple questions on that deal.
Well,
Again,
I'm not sure I can answer any more questions on that deal, Mike.
again, why is he targeting the car he picked out? 2000, you can auction off that piece of shit 2003 car. Well, hold on, he picked it out, sir.
I'm sure it was a cream puff when he bought it.
That's another whole podcast.
A couple of years of crack use, and all of a sudden it's not running right.
Oh, God. And so then again, he attacked your family.
He
Fuck
does.
you and your whole family, the man said.
That's right.
Now, why?
Mike, I don't know.
I'm baffled by this whole
My
experience.
feelings were hurt at that point.
I doubt it. There's one thing you don't have is a feeling. And then the last part. Now, I'm not so sure why he wants to come over and do that. No, not on that program.
We're not meeting.
No. I'm not going to make that happen.
That's right.
Oh, but it baffles me that they picked the car. You've never even seen the car.
Never.
They could be 2 hours away, maybe even more.
Oh, yeah.
You've never seen the car.
Oh, yeah.
They go onto the lot. They pick the car. The car dealership calls you and says, hey, will you finance this guy? You look over everything, say, yes, these are my parameters. I'm going to finance the guy. Still never seen the car. Still never seen the person.
No.
And you fund the deal.
Yeah.
They failed to pay for the car.
Yep.
And then they call you and tell you the car's a piece of shit. And I can't believe you took it because I didn't pay my bill.
That's right.
How does that work?
Shocking.
Shocking. It's your fault because they didn't pay their bills.
It's good beer, Mike, by the way.
Delicious beer from the Back Porch Brewing Company. So I guess there's some crazy stories back when you were in the corporate world that some stuff happened in the office, and practical joke goes back to the old practical joke thing.
I'm known for some practical jokes here and there, but you know what? Some people deserve it.
They do, 1,000%.
Do they not?
Most people deserve it.
Most people deserve it.
Most people deserve it. Because most people suck.
So back in the day, like in an office environment, there was always the proverbial lunchroom with the communal refrigerator. You had the lunchroom, a couple little tables and a refrigerator. You'd come in, you have a sack lunch or whatever back in the day. You put your name on it, throw it in there, and when it's time for lunch, you went in and got your lunch and ate your lunch and went back to work. Well, at some point, we had someone who was swiping people's lunches. Now, who takes people's lunches?
The lunch bandit.
It was the lunch bandit. The guy's taking lunches. This guy took my lunch.
Oh.
So after a while, we decided we were going to have a little management meeting, just myself and a couple of my cohorts. And we decided we were going to find out who was doing this. This is before cameras and cell phones and all that kind of stuff. So if you recall, if you go to the grocery store, and I think they still have those little Sara Lee bundt cakes. They're about this big around, and you just pop them in the microwave or pop them in the oven, and you just little bundt cake things. Well, I went and got one of those babies. And I went over to the pharmacy area and picked up a whole bag of chocolate laxative.
Perfect.
Melted down the chocolate.
Oh, you're talking about those things in the little tin?
Yeah, the little tin
And you
thing.
pop them in, and then you put the chocolate shit on top?
Yeah, and I melted down the chocolate laxative, X-Lax, whatever they call it. I melted it down in a little pot, and I slathered it right on top like a little cake.
Were you snickering?
Oh,
Giggling like a little girl.
Oh.
Can't wait.
I brought that into work the next day. I cut a little corner out to make it look like somebody had already been nibbling on it, which apparently that gives people even more green light.
Green light. Just.
We shoved it in there, and we literally just waited. And we got the answer really quickly. This guy comes into our office going, "Hey, guys, I got to go home. I don't feel good. My tummy is upset." And he didn't make it down the hall.
Got to the bathroom?
He didn't make it.
Nah. He shit himself?
Yeah.
Oh, there's gotta love it.
You know what?
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You stole my lunch.
You stole my lunch.
And you stole everybody else's
You
lunch.
stole everybody's
You
lunch.
deserve it.
Yeah.
And I hope when you went to your car, you had to stop at the grass in front of your car and scoot across like this
Look,
so you can get your ass clean before you got in your car. You deserve every bit of it.
You know what happened after that, Mike?
Nobody stole your lunch.
Nobody stole anybody's lunch.
Yeah.
You're terrified to take somebody's lunch.
And
Problem-
deserve every bit of it.
Problem solved.
Ah, funny stuff. I put some hot sauce on a keyboard one time. Guys doing paperwork. Same guy who got me with the hot sauce. I took his own shit and put him on his keyboard. So he's doing a finance deal. The customers are in his office, and he's typing up away, and he wipes his eye like this, and he can't move because there's customers stuck right there. And I'm in the window going, fucker, got me. And it was all on his paperwork. He couldn't Yeah, they deserve it.
They do.
Can't get them. So the phone calls, any shady, what's the shadiest thing you've seen people do in finance? And I know there's a list of things, I mean, because we're both in the car business for a lot of years.
Listen, the overwhelming vast majority of the folks working in the auto industry, they're just
Great
decent. They're just decent folks making a living, trying to make a living.
Right,
It's not-
1,000%.
It's not an easy business, but but every once in a while, there's just somebody I go, "What are you thinking? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?"
Oh, and you just can't fathom why you take a job where most folks, myself included, in the automobile industry, I went to college, but I flunked right out. Beer,
No,
done, gone.
No surprise there.
Yeah, no shocker. So you find a vessel or a career that you can actually make a pretty decent living at for an uneducated person like myself. Easy for me to say, you got me drinking this 7.2 beer. So you're an honest person, you go to work, you're making a better living than most, and yet you want to kink that deal somehow because you act like there's another industry we can go in and make that kind of money.
I can tell you, the craziest, kinkiest thing I've ever seen, there was a guy, again, this is going back 20 some odd years, who was triple dipping loans. So in other words, he'd have a customer He'd fill out the contract. Then he'd say, oh, I got something wrong with it. And have him fill out another contract. And they go, oh, one more, 3 contracts. And he sent it to 3 different banks. The guy ended up with 3 loans on the same car. Now, how do you not get caught?
Is he not in jail?
It should be. How do you not get caught doing that? Because at some point, the customers are going to get 3 payment books. From the old days, right? Payment books.
And his credit score goes to 4 because he's got DTI issues.
Yeah.
Because you have a $4,000 car payment on a Buick Impala.
The 3 lenders don't know there's 3 contracts.
Not for 30 days.
No.
And they all fund.
So
his PVR must have been profit per vehicle. Must have been pretty high.
Now, how do you not get? You're going to get caught.
When the way had a knucklehead that was taking cash for insurance things like wheel and tire, he would only take cash. And he would draw it all up, and then he'd throw it away and pocket the cash. They never had the wheel and tire. Till somebody actually hit a pothole.
Somebody had to claim. Yeah.
Somebody had to claim. He was, wait, I bought this. I got a copy of it right here. No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Just do the right thing always. It is not that.
Just don't do that, people. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Knucklehead. So one of the last things we'll touch on is nothing to do with either one of us, but I just saw an accident the other day, so it made me think of another aspect of the body shop, or the car business, which is the body shop. And you have a picture which you'll send to Cliff, my buddy Cliff, who I forgot to introduce earlier. What's up, Cliff?
Cliffy!
He is the main part of this whole deal. I just got the face for radio. He's got the radio. So we send that picture to Cliff, but it's a 35-mile-an-hour zone, and a car got on top of another car. Now, I'm not sure how you're going that slow and get a car on top of another car outside of the fact, and I live in a neighborhood that happens a lot of times, you hit the gas instead of the brake. Oh. They're really confusing pedals, apparently. We've had 2 people in the lake here in the last 30 days, and new mailboxes on the way.
All I can tell you this is that a few years ago, our local area here, there was a major off season. In other words, our snowbird friends would come down, they'd be here for a few months, they'd go away. In the middle of summer, there's nobody here. We have no off season now.
No.
We have no off season. So the reality is that we now have so much traffic, and the traffic is just producing these accidents, and quite frankly, people pay attention to where you're going. But in the past, our friends at body shops, they would do the rain dance. That's how they got business.
Were begging for business.
They were begging for business. They were out there in the middle of summer doing rain dances to hopefully get somebody in. They don't have to do rain dances anymore.
Now the body shop guy that I play golf with, they put that roundabout at Jacaranda, and he's over there like a crack dealer just counting his money, putting it in the machine and counting it up. And he's like, I sent him a customer, and he gave me the finger. Don't give me any more business, he said. And recently, I learned a new parking technique.
What's that, Mike?
We've heard of the pulling directly in, pulling at an angle. We've heard of parallel parking. But have you ever heard of vertical parking? This fucker went over the thing, and there was a gullet down here, and the car stood straight up. Vertical parking.
Do we have a picture of that somewhere?
We do have a picture of that somewhere. Mr. Cliff will get that too.
Yeah, we need to
vertical
get that.
parking. I'm not sure if they're going to teach that in traffic school, but maybe they will. So what you do is you climb down from your seatbelt. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out for today's show. It was a great show, inaugural. Thank Mario very, very much, and definitely thank our
friends
sponsor, Back Porch Brewing Company. They do a great job. Please stop in for a cold beer. Tell them Mike sent you from the Who's Next Let's Go show. And their food is on the way. It should be ready by the time this airs. Please enjoy and have a great time. Thanks, everyone, for coming out.
Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Who's Next Let's Go show. If you want to hear more, you can catch new episodes on Wednesdays at noon, and all episodes will be on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at the Who's Next Let's Go show.